Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have such an exciting video and it's basically advice that I think I would have appreciated when I was a student about occupational therapy and how about to navigate the occupational therapy world. And if you want to hear more about this, please stay tuned. Okay, so this is advice that I really hope somebody would have just, kind of given me a heads up, like, girl, this is what you need to do and this is what you need to have that is going to make your OT life smooth sailing. So I hope that I'm able to kind of give you advice that I never received, and I hope you find this helpful. The first advice I have to give you is, in OT we deal with activities. So we deal with activity prescription. What happens is, let me give you a scenario. You go to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, okay, these are your symptoms, you've got flu, therefore you are going to need a cough mixture, you're going to need antibiotics, and you're going to need strepsils, okay, for your throat. Great. And then you go out and you buy those things and you take them and then your flu is better. So as occupational therapists, we prescribe activities. So therefore, a lot of the things that we do and a lot of our treatments and our intervention is activities. So activities are not things that you can go to the shop and just buy and like a medicine. Some of these activities we have to create and be creative. Some of them are things that we literally have to think of and make for our clients. So if you do a lot of activities, that means you need to have a lot of resources. That means you need to have some money. So we did struggle a lot, my friends and I, but I mean, we made a plan. But please just make sure you communicate to your parents that you're going to need money for activities. Like if you're having a baking activity with your clients and you're teaching them certain things like decision making, judgments, delay of gratification, like you're going to, because those are the kind of things that we are treating when using an activity. We always treat using activities. So you're gonna need to be able to buy certain things. You're gonna need to be able to buy like art and craft things if that is what you are kind of treating. So activities means resources, means money, honey. So make sure that you get some kind of an allowance from your parents. And I mean, if you can't, look, I made it, my friends made it, but we did kind of struggle in terms of that, especially because we didn't live at home. And everything that came from us, it literally, if we didn't have groceries at home or we didn't have arts and craft things at home, we would have to kind of make do with the things that were provided at school or at the hospitals that we were at. So be mindful of that. It is really huge because activities is what we are masters in. Another thing that is going to be very helpful for you is to have a laptop. I know that the school provides computers and you have access, but it is a little bit nice if you can take that, you can have some of that time at home doing your own thing and still being able to type. So please, if you can, it is not a necessary, but if you can have a laptop, please, you will be doing yourself a favor, or else you will be walking in the middle of the night, which we know that it's not so safe anymore, coming back from the library, trying to finish reports, because a lot of the work that we do is report writing. Therefore, and activity prescriptions and programs, treatment programs, group sessions, it's a lot of paperwork. So if you have a laptop, and if you can get a printer in your room, that will be excellent. You and your friend can actually join heads and say, you know what, friend, I think we should buy a printer, so that you guys don't have to stress, especially with printing out activity prescriptions in the morning, treatment plans in the morning, so that all your things are actually organized and you've done everything that you need to. You've printed your reports, you've typed your reports at home, and literally you're just going to school the next day to submit those things. So please, if you can. However, the school does provide all of that, computers and printers, but then if you are going to rely on the school ones, you need to make sure that you're on top of your game, that you finish your work the night before, that you've printed the night before, so that in the morning when you're going to prac, or when you're going for your exam or your practical exam, or when you're going for field work, all your stuff is printed out, because some of the hospitals don't really let students print things or sit and type things there. So those things will be very, very helpful for yourself. Another thing that you are going to need is to have a strong mental health. I didn't even know what mental health is. We are literally in an era where we are so aware of our mental health, and your mental health is the most important thing. You cannot neglect your mental health when you are in OT school, and it is going to affect you, and it is going to take a toll on you, because it is a lot of pressure, and it is dealing with people. You are constantly dealing with people, and you are picking up and you are leaving some negative energies. You are literally have to be constantly interacting with people, interacting with your assignments. You have a lot, so you do have to be a little bit strong in terms of your mental health. And if that means you need to go to see a psychologist at the student center, please do that. My friends and I used to see psychologists because we were going through it. We had tough times, and it was not because of, yes, it was mostly because of the pressures at school, but also the things that we're dealing with back from home. Having a parents who didn't understand what we were doing and how tough it was in university. So please, if you need that assistant to kind of take care of your mental health, book with a psychologist. The student centers have a lot of help for you. You cannot neglect your mental health, because if you lose your mental health, it's just not worth it anymore. You're not gonna find any pleasure in what you're doing. So please make sure you're taking care and you're building a mental health that is strong and that can withstand anything that you face, and that you know how to cope with things, and then it doesn't become you coping destructively, but you coping constructively with the stresses that you're going to face and all the pressures that you're going to face in university. Another thing that you need to have is friends. Please don't isolate yourself. Please find friends that you guys are gonna go and study with. The Bible even says 2 heads are better than 1 girl. If you guys want to study together, do that. We had massive study groups, huge study groups. We used to study all the time as groups. If you're not a person that likes to study in groups, that's fine. But please make sure that you are building friendships within what you are studying, because there's when you are in 3rd year and 4th year, you're only with your OT people, and maybe if you've made friends with like BA students or other students, you leave them behind at like main campus. And when you're in medical school and you're really focused on occupational therapy, find OT friends that are going to understand what you're going through and that are going to be able to support you in whatever you are going through, that will help you with your notes. Say you are absent, you need somebody to kind of tell you that, you know what, this is what we did, and help you catch up. Don't isolate yourself. Varsity is not a place where you must isolate yourself and just do work on your own, especially in occupational therapy, because we work a lot in groups as well. So it will be beneficial for you to find OT friends to support you. Another thing that you need to consider is you need to be proactive. Be proactive and do not procrastinate. Procrastination is going to be one of the worst things you can do to yourself, because in varsity, work piles up. A day in university is like 3 months in the real world. From my experience, that's true to me. So if you're gonna play the catch-up game, if you're gonna think, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, or I'm gonna do it this, or you're gonna wait and not study and study the day before, it is a lot of work. So don't procrastinate and try and be ahead. I know that this is like stretching it a little. It's not high school where you can actually, when the work is not as much. But honestly speaking, I think you can try to be a little bit ahead if you can. If you're a boffin, definitely do that. But please don't leave things till the last minute, because it becomes, it all piles up and it just becomes a little bit too much. So be proactive, go and find out what you need to do. If you don't understand things, go to your lecturers, email your lecturers. You need to be in front of your schoolwork. Don't sit back and be like, you know what, well, I don't know what to do. Go out to your lecturers, ask them what you need to be doing, and be proactive, and don't procrastinate. It's going to bite you in the back. Another thing that you need to do for yourself is put structure in your life. Okay, you're in university, mom's not there, grand's not there. Well, at least for the people that are not staying at home, nobody is there to say, look, dude, you need to go wash the dishes now, please do your homework. Nobody is there to do that. So structure a life that is going to assist you to be able to take care of yourself, to be able to take care of the chores that you need to do, and to be able to take care of your schoolwork. And a lot about occupational therapy is creating structures in which our clients can be at their best. Sometimes our clients struggle with creating structure, and that's what we do best. We kind of go in there and we create a structure that's going to make a client become the best version of themselves. So you need to do that for yourself as well. And in you creating that structure is always leaving time for yourself, always making sure that you are taking care of yourself. Self-care is the most important thing you can do for yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't really be as effective of a therapist, or kind of like just understanding the core of what occupational therapy is if you're going to neglect yourself, because that's what you need to be teaching your clients, that self-care is where it starts. So you need to be able to do your chores, you need to be able to do your schoolwork, and to have a balance of literally everything. So a balance of your friends, a balance of your chores, a balance of taking time for yourself, a balance of studying. All of those things need to be within a structure that facilitates your growth and facilitates you not being so much under pressure, but being on top of the pressure, so that you don't feel you don't get self-deprivation. Like if you're feeling deprived yourself, it becomes hard for you to become a helping hand to someone else. So please make sure you're structuring enough time for leisure and constructive leisure activities also, where you are literally taking the time to enjoy some of the things that you do. Don't neglect yourself. If you don't take anything from this, put in a structure that doesn't allow you to neglect yourself. Another thing that you need to really, really, really consider and have is a great support system. For me, I was the first person to go to university in my family. And yes, my mom is a nurse. She is a professional, but it wasn't as intense. It wasn't as intense as occupational therapy, and in some ways I don't think my mom really understood how much support I needed. But that is a story for another day. Please have a good support system. You're going to need it. You're going to need somebody to call and cry. Like, you're gonna call somebody and just cry, and you need that, whether it is your boyfriend, whether it is your friends from home. You need somebody who's going to be like, girl, you got this, you can do it, of course you're amazing. Yes, cry it out, but get back on it and do it. And it's very important for you to find people who are not going to distract you and who are not going to shift your focus on being at school and like just take away your focus from school. You don't need that. You need people who are going to add and who are going to be there to support you, because it's a lot. But it's things that you will be able to get over if you have the correct support system around you. Make sure that you're communicating and you're staying in touch with the people that make you feel energized inside, that make you feel like you can do it. Because there's days where you're just like, you know what, I don't need this degree. I don't need this degree. I don't need it. And you need somebody to be there to be like, of course you do, friend. This is always what you wanted to do. You can do it. You need those people in your life. And make sure that if there's people that are not pushing you forward and that are not helping you recenter and regroup and get out there and be positive, you don't need that person, or you don't need those people in your life, because you need to focus when you're in OT school, and you just have to be able to have people who are going to lift you up and remind you that you're a boss, first of all, and you can do this, okay? So get yourself a support system. Another thing that I'm going to tell you and give you advice on is find a guilty pleasure that is going to just take you away from the world of OT just for a little bit, not too long. I don't know, I never really had a guilty pleasure, but looking back, I only discovered YouTube, guys, this is so embarrassing. I discovered YouTube in the year of my concert, and this was 2016. Find a guilty pleasure that is going to kind of take you away and makes you feel good, you know, and don't let it be something that's passive. Don't let it be like watching series and things like that. Try and do things that are active, that actually fuel you with energy. So for me, I love playing netball. Like, I love netball, but I thought I didn't have the time to play netball, or let me not lie, I was in a netball team in varsity, and then anyway, we are on to positive things now. I am still in a netball team, and I really love my team, and that team really appreciates me. But find an activity that is active, that is a guilty pleasure. That's going to be something you're going to be like, you know what, on Fridays, this is what I do, and it's good for me, it makes me feel good, and I'm going to do it. Please don't do the whole Netflix thing, and because you will get caught up in the series. Like, you'll watch one series, you're like, you know what, let me take a break. You'll watch one series, and before you know it, you've finished all of the seasons and you didn't study. Don't do it. Don't do it. Find something that is active, just gonna keep you engaged for like 30-45 minutes, and you've released also the stress of the week, and and you've kind of recentered and focused on what makes you happy. That also helps with your mental health. It helps with your self-care as well, making sure that you're still engaging in activities that are important and meaningful to you. It starts with you, therapist or student. It really does. So find a guilty pleasure and do it every week if you can, so that you can recenter and refocus and remember who you are. Another thing that you're going to need is a positive mindset and a beautiful attitude. So as an occupational therapist, I have mentioned this before, you need to be the most positive person in the world. That is what occupational therapy taught me. It really taught me how to be a better person, how to kind of have a positive outlook. It did take me a while, but because I've had to walk the hard way, I'm telling you, the sooner you can have a positive attitude and a positive mindset, the better. It really, really helps with just your overall, your relationships with the people around you and how you actually look at challenges going forward. Because a lot of the times I was there, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this, you know. But if you have a positive outlook and a positive mindset, you're able to see and look at a challenge like, you know what, I'm gonna be able to do this and I'm gonna come out amazing. So if you can develop that like from the get-go, you're going to be like fine. You're not going to need anything. Like a positive mindset and a positive attitude is everything. So make sure that you always and are consistently mindful to stay positive, because when you're negative, you can't really create. You can't be at your best. You can't be at your most creative, and you can't really face your books when you are negative. So please develop that positive mindset. And if it means you have to listen to your feel-good song before you start studying, if it means that you have to go for a jog, if it means that you have to call your mom, if it means that you have to speak to your boyfriend, like do what is necessary to remind you to be positive and to face your books and do the work that's necessary. Last but not least, please make sure that during your holidays you are shadowing different aspects of OT. So what you can do is look at, okay, fine, yes, you're going to get all the exposure in school, but now you're trying to kind of figure out which field you're going to go to when you finish varsity. So what would be very important for you is to take the time when you're on holiday, go and check out what medical legal OTs do. Spend a day or two with them. Go and check out what peds therapists do, and spend a day with them and see what they do and see what, literally just look at it in the eyes of not being a student, but in the eyes of being a professional. I think that will help you in terms of when you need to decide which field you're going to or which hospital you're going to and what field you want to choose in terms of doing occupational therapy. Make sure you see what a physical OT does versus a psych OT does versus a peds OT does versus medical legal versus vocational rehab. Shadowing different fields of occupational therapy opens a whole new world for you, and you'll be able to kind of figure out where you want to be. That is all the advice I could think of. Honestly speaking, these are things that I also asked my friends if they had to be told before going into OT, if they would give somebody advice. They really helped me formulate these suggestions, and I really hope that they have been helpful for you, and I really do wish you all the best, the most successful academic year. And remember, OT is gonna change your life, and it changes your life for the better. Trust. I hope you enjoyed the advice, and I hope you actually take the advice that I've given you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.